Yo, it's your boy Agallah Don, and right now you're listening to the Producer Podcast with my guy, Krazy Drayz from EFX. Let's get it. You already know.
Hey, yo, what's good, y'all? It's your man Krazy to the Drayz Diggity Das Effects. I'm back with another one. This is my brother from another mother. This producer, he goes by so many aliases. Let me get it right. He goes by, some of y'all might know him as Adolf. Some of y'all might know him as Brad Piff. Some of y'all might know him as Swagallah Don Bishop, but I just call him my homie A. Yo, he's worked with all of the best. He's worked with me. He's worked with EPMD. He's worked with Remy Ma. He's worked with Busta Rhymes. If you didn't know, hey yo, give it up for my brother A. Agallah to the show, the Producers Podcast.
Thank you for having me. What up, A? Beloved, thank you. I'm excited to do this. Since you know what I mean. It's been a while getting here, so yeah. I appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
You already know, man. You already know. When I started this, I had a list. So you was definitely in the list. Like, yo, you already know. Me and you, we go back to about 95, 96. So I had to get you on up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you know the history got to get told. So you know what I mean. Let's get to it.
So yo, let's get to it. So hey, me and you linked. I think back in, I tell it as 95, but you tell it maybe a year earlier. But I tell it from when I first, because we was on the same label. We was on Elektra. You know what I mean? And then we went on tour together. You had the smash hit, you know what I mean? Ghetto Girl, right?
Right.
Okay. Right. So boom, we was on the road, and that's how we linked up. But you tell it that we met a year earlier?
Yeah, because like, I was, shopping my demo at the time, and like, 93, 94, when y'all came out, I was like on a circuit, and I believe one show y'all had was in Jersey City at the Boys Club, downtown Jersey City. It was Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs, and it was y'all and a couple of other opening acts. I believe Main Source was there that night too.
Okay.
And y'all came out, y'all had the jackets, you know what I mean? The 40 below Timbs. I was like, yo, who these dudes? These dudes is ill. Yeah. And I heard the record, but when I got to see y'all live, I was like right there. And it was like an inspirational moment for me, because I was like, yo, I want to, I felt like, at that moment I was getting ready to work with guys like you and Edo. But I didn't get to meet you. Y'all actually did the show and broke out. Y'all didn't, you know what I mean? I think I was doing like 4 shows a night at that time. I believe, because I did the homework. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I was talking to Edo G. He had a DJ named DJ Cruz. I gave them my demo, and they was like, yo, we want to work with you, you know what I mean? But nothing ever came to happen about that situation. So, but the lines was there. But you know what I mean? It was just that time I seen y'all at the Boys Club, which was crazy for me.
Okay.
I was like, yeah. And I was living in Jersey City because I just came home from the group home. You know what I mean? I didn't have a studio. I ain't have no equipment. I was just like fresh out.
So, hey, let's take it back. So you from BK, right?
From Brownsville.
All right, cool. And a lot of people know you some might know you from as Adolf rhyming, and some know you from your production. So which came first for you, and when did you get into either or?
Well, like beginning stages of me, I was a DJ. I'm a DJ. Okay. That's what I do. I know how to, DJ very well. That's what I came up doing. My godfather owned a record shop on Pickens Avenue in Rockaway with a guy named Russ and another partner called Soul Shack. It's very legendary. It's one of the mom and pop first record stores, you get your mixtapes from in Brownsville, and all of, Big Daddy Kane, Biz Markie, Kane, KRS-One, Stetson Sonic, all the 90s greats been there. X-Clan, anybody that blew up from Brooklyn that comes out of Brownsville, East New York, they know about Soul Shack. You know what I mean? It was a very legendary place.
Okay.
And that's my family. So, being from Brownsville, like growing up, I used to see Red Alert in my neighborhood. And you know what I mean? He would be doing jams with another guy named DJ Swan when he was doing jams. You know, I come from that era when they was throwing jams. And then, you know what I mean? That was like the inspiration to go hit the jam with the homies, drink a 40, smoke a blunt, you know what I mean? Pull up, had that good vibe of the people there. You know, there was shootouts back then. It was crazy in the neighborhood, but you know, you still enjoy the excitement of the music, the big speakers, the you know what I mean? The makeshifting of making your own turntables and stuff like that. And, you know, because we couldn't afford Technique 1200. So you had to, you know, use what you had to, you know, get where you had to go back then. And, you know, luckily I had, you know, friendly neighbors that had equipment and let me scratch on them. Guy named Jerome that lived next door. He showed me how to use the 1200s. The rest was history.
You took off from there.
Yeah, and then you know, then Gemini would make these mixes that you could sample 6 seconds with, you know, with the drums and the beat. And then I used to make mixtapes. That's what I wanted to do, make mixtapes, and you know what I mean. It turned into me being an MC. Wound up being in a group with a couple friends that I grew up with. A guy named Top Dollar. He's one of the nicest MCs ever, and I used to make beats and beatbox for him in the group. And we went to talent shows in Brooklyn. And you know what I mean? We didn't get no deal from it, but we was just young having fun. We didn't know about getting a deal at this time. And you know, life just kept happening for me. You know, I was in the streets too, and you know, didn't have that father figure, didn't have, you know, that investment, because it wasn't really hip hop wasn't you know, for my family, it didn't come to fruition until I made the gamble and, you know, to make the assessment to go find studio time, you know, wherever I was at. And it was like, you know, nobody wanted to make beats for me. So this is where I had to come in and figure out production. You know, being out with a DJ, I was like, I know what beats I want, because I DJ and I know how to make, you know, beats off looping, and I was doing that on mixtape. So I guess, you know, time progressed, and I wound up, you know, getting, you know, my first equipment later on, the MPC. You know what I mean? Which was my first professional equipment with the S950. And you know, I made beats from there, and you know, I wound up landing my, you know, placement with Tommy Boy. They signed me at first, but how it happened was that I was unsigned hype of the Source magazine. Daddy C. And that's when I was on a roof with Redman and Method Man. We was all freestyling, smoking blunts. You know what I mean? And it was on the top of the Source building, and Jonathan Schechter seen me in a cypher. So this is when, you know, I was transitioning, coming back out the group home, you know, didn't really have anything. And I came back to New York looking for studio time. Wound up getting crazy with it on a track with a couple of other MCs that you know, allowed me to come through. I think their name was Raw Breed, and then Ice-T heard me, and then he was like, "Yo, this dude dope." And this was like Godfather Dom and Kool Keith and them people from the Bronx. You know what I mean? I just like I used to rhyme with Talib Kweli and Mos Def before they was famous, and Washington Square Park. I used to hang out there. I would see mad rappers come through, like Redhead Kingpin, son. You know what I mean? He would come through and be there chilling, like just regular. I'd be like, yo, that's yo. And I used to think Redhead Kingpin was mad nice.
Yeah. Like, he lived a town over from me.
I rap with son. Like I bought his albums. Like, you feel me?
We all did,
He heard me rhyme. He heard me rhyme. He was like, yo, come to the studio. You know what I mean? And me and him got cool. Nothing never happened out of that either. Because I was young, I was just still, trying to get familiar with what the industry was like. And he was already blown up at the time. He was doing shit with Teddy Riley and shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna keep it moving. I went back to the park. I met this dude, KRS-One brother, ICU.
Okay.
I met ICU. ICU heard me rhyme. We was all in ciphers because I used to battle everybody. I ain't care who he was. I'm trying to smoke you. Like, my name was Adolf the Assassin at that time.
Okay.
So we was like competitors in that park. Supernatural will tell you, Most Def will tell you, Talib will tell you. There's so many MCs, the Bush Babies, they was all there.
Let me just ask you, hey, when you doing all of this and you killing MCs left and right, how come you're not shopping your beats to them at the same time? Because I knew you more as an MC. So why'd you take that angle?
Well, when I was making the beats, because I didn't have my equipment at that time. When I was like I said, I just came back home and I was just getting familiar with the New York scene again.
Okay.
And then I wind up meeting a guy named Bobby Crawford, R.I.P. Bobby Crawford worked with Tim Dog. I used to use his studio. I walked, and it was on Bond Street in Broadway, and that's where I started working on more production because I was getting familiar with the MPC. I was getting familiar with the MPC 60, and it was just a trigger, a drum machine trigger. It didn't filter. It didn't do none of the, super effects that you have today. So I had to, learn the 950, and I didn't go to school for none of this. It was just,
nobody does.
Stuff that I felt that I knew I could apply to making beats because I knew the sound, you know what I mean? And I just felt like if I could get to know how to use these equipment on my own, and I didn't have a lot of people teaching me. It was a long time before I, got to learn what MIDI was, got to learn what was, triggering, certain, sounds and how to filter, how to EQ, all that was a high science. I didn't know what I was dealing with high science back then, you know what I'm saying?
You're already. So let's jump to 95 then. Okay, so by 95, you have your deal, right, with Elektra, and you produce your
Before that was Tommy Boy first.
Right. But then I want to jump to when me and you kind of link up, because that's when you kind of come on the scene, quote unquote. You got your deal, you doing the beat for your joint, so take me up until there. So how do you come across producing the Ghetto Girl joint, and how does that get you in the building? What got you in the building?
Well, how that came about was I wound up meeting a guy in Queens named Greg, DJ Greg. He was a guy that worked at New Tribe with Fred Joe and Sticky. They worked at a barbershop all together before Onyx blew up. They used to work at a barbershop off Jamaica Avenue. So he wound up linking, we were cool. I didn't know who Onyx was, but he heard me rhyming because he was a DJ. He was like, yo, I think you need to link up with these cats from Queens right now. I'm gonna make this shit happen. These dudes blowing up. Your sound and they sound go kind of together. You know what I mean? So he picked up the phone, called Fred Joe, say, yo, I got this dude I want you to meet. I'm gonna bring him through. And this is when Fred Joe Star lived off Merritt Boulevard, but they was all in the same crib. Sticky and Fred cousins. So they lived in the same crib. So I came over there, and played my shit. He was like, yo, hard, like, yo, I would have him around, whatever. And then one thing led to another. They put me on the road with them. I went on tour with them, and then, things opened up for me kind of from Dale not working out at Tommy Boy. I was on the road with Onyx as a roadie. Okay. So, but then that turned into me opening up and, getting on stage with them with the beat machine. If you've been to Onyx shows, I was a dude on stage next to DJ Flamboyant on the beat machines doing the beats live for Onyx.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, they took me all over the world. So I'm forever grateful for that experience. You know what I mean? It gave me that road experience with Onyx and Run DMC. So, from that, you know, Run was like one day when we off the road back in Queens in Jamaica had Jam Master J studio, of Jamaica, you know what I mean, on Parsons. We like, you know, cooking up for the next album, but they used to give me time on the side to do my thing, you know what I mean, do my little demos and all that.
Okay.
So one day, Run walk in the studio, and you know I'm doing my demo. He's like, "Yo, what the fuck is that?" And there was a song called "Somebody's Faking Moves," and I was making a beat. Just laid a verse, you know what I mean? I just laid the verse, and then Run was like, "Yo, what's up? What y'all doing with the nigga? He hot. Right. Let's get this nigga a deal." You know what I mean? But you know, Run couldn't really step in because he wasn't my manager. You know, okay. Fred was, you know, really manning the whole management situation. Okay. So, you know, things basically wound up me being like, I wound up getting to it. You know what I mean? I wound up shopping my demo when I was at DS crib. I made Ghetto Girl in his mother's basement. God bless the dead. I made that song Ghetto Girl in the basement on the MP and the 950 because what happened was Sylvia Rome, you know what I mean, she heard me. She was like, "Yo, get this man a demo deal immediately, see what he could do." I went back to the crib as soon as she said, "Yo, you know what I mean," you know, and then she was like, "Yo, I'm gonna get you studio time." You know what I mean? Whatever. I went in did 3 songs. One of them songs was Ghetto Girl. She was like, immediately put this out. Like, this is a hit. And you know that.
Were you trying to make something commercial like that, or you was just wilding in the studio?
I knew what I had to do when you're dealing with a record label, when you're dealing with labels, and I couldn't be underground because I knew they wanted to market me. When you street, you know, it's one thing, you know, when you unsigned hype in the source is one thing, you know, but then there's levels to this, you know what I mean? Levels you already. You got people putting up $500,000 behind you. You better deliver them something they can market and promote because you playing with investment. You know what I mean? And they want to make their money back. And I didn't realize it at the time, but you know, you got to be able to, you know what I mean, understand, you know, the boat you're getting in. If you know, and what they expect of you, what these corporations expect. And I was young, you know.
Yeah, we all were. Yeah, we all were. So with the Ghetto Girl joint, I know it had a crazy that's You Want to Hit Ghetto Girl, and it was another sample that you flipped though, right?
Yeah, it was Can't Hide Love by John Trappier. And it was a remake of Earth, Wind and Fire's Can't Hide Love.
So, hey, those other 2 joints that you did in the demo with Ghetto Girl, what 2 songs were those, and did they make the album?
Somebody's Faking Moves, which made the first Adolf album, which is called Wrap Your Lips Around This, and the other song I believe was I don't remember. I think it was called "I'm Not Your Favorite Rapper." And yeah, those 3 songs I did at Chunk King when Sylvia Rome granted me the time for my demo, and then she heard Ghetto Girl and wanted to immediately give me, you know, $500,000. So I appreciate that moment in my life because it all started from me producing Champ MC.
Okay. What year we talking?
This is the 6 months prior to me signing to East West. I did a song for Champ MC called "Do You Know My Style." It was a remix. And I jumped on it with it. I produced it and jumped on it. And that was my first $10,000 check. I was happy as you don't even know, man. Like kid from the ghetto, when you get $10,000.
Yeah, you already.
Yeah, it's like, yo, you know, God looking out for you.
You already. So look, so boom. So, and do you do the whole, the album never comes out though, but on Elektra, but I know me and this man right here, we hit the road. We was doing shows, we was touring. This is 95, 96. So that's when I I would come to your room, you'd come to my room, you'd play me beats. So that's how I started understanding, like, yo, this dude is more than an MC. He's actually a dangerous producer. You know, that's how I kind of clicked on to you when we was on the road. And then we get off the road in around 96, maybe 97. And then we link up, right? And then I think the first thing
I'm on the road with Busta, and you guys are on tour, on your own tour. We like connect and road on the East Coast. We were coming down from New York. It started from New York. We went on tour because we did Ill Style Live. Remember, we did Ill Style Live. That was 9-5.
Okay.
And we went on the road to promote that whole Electra thing, you know, that whole big thing they were doing in 9-5 was like a big Electra promotion for all the artists.
Okay. So we get off the road, and then you somehow, through, I guess, hanging with us, you linked up with Parrish, PMD, and then you started working on Business is Business.
Well, that was through you, because you guys came on, you guys heard that beat. You guys heard Rough, Rugged, and Raw. I remember this.
People don't know you did P's single, Rough, Rugged, and Raw. We all in the video. Shit is crazy. Go.
So I think you and Scoob came on the bus when I had the MP hooked up, and y'all heard the beat, and I bought it on P bus, on y'all bus. And then I played it for P, I think, you know what I mean? And he was like, yo, I want that. Like, you know what I mean? And, you know, history was made right then and there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's how it was like, yo, you know, y'all brought me in, you know, and we started working a lot together. And that turned into me doing Parrish's single, and he wound up getting a deal with Relativity for like $1 million. And I wound up like helping produce that album, and then you know, working on the next 2 EPMD albums as well, the Out of Business and Back of Business. So it was building my I appreciate the EPMD the books, because it was like, you know, I ain't see it coming. It was like, oh, here goes it. You know, life changes, man. And I was like, man, I gotta get on that level now. This is a higher level when you're dealing with his squad. This is a higher level.
What joints did you do for the Back in Business joint?
Well, the Back in Business, I believe I did Dungeon Master featuring Nocturnal. Yeah, I did that beat. And then out of Business, I did Check 1 2. And I rhymed on Who Got Shot.
All I could say, is you one of the fastest beat makers I ever been around. Because I mean, we spent time, because you worked on our Generation Effects album. That's a 98, but I'm gonna get to that. But what I just want to say is, yo, hey, I've seen you make a beat in like 3 minutes, bro. And that's not even counting. And that's counting turning on the machine. I used to be like, yo, hey, make me a beat. 3 minutes later, this dude is making heat. I just gotta let you know, one of the fastest beat makers, you know what I'm saying? I just remember you like this, banging your head like this. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, this dude is dangerous right here. So after the PMD, EPMD, I think that's when you start, because we linked up at 97 98 on the Generation Effects album, right?
Yes, we did.
And what came before that? That's when you Busta. You was working with, you was working.
I was working with Busta Rhymes on When Disaster Strikes.
Okay, because that's a year before the Generation Effects joint. Tell me how you linked up. Tell me how you linked up with Bus.
But that's my man from way back.
Okay.
Yeah, Trevor. I know him. We like look, me, Spliff. When I was this back in the 90s, when I used to run around New York, man, I used to run around to every club. You heard? Like, I used to be like a club kid. You heard? I used to dance and graffiti and all that. You know what I mean? And I used to run in the bus in them, and I used to run in the Cypher. I used to see Q-Tip and Fife and leaders. You know, I know Dinko mad years. So, you know what I mean? Like, Dinko was just at my crib not too long ago, did a joint here. You know what I mean? Like, we all go back on some like hip hop, real hip hop before. Like, I mean, when they were leaders, they were doing them, but I used to run into Sadat and everybody, you know, at clubs like Wetlands and Kilimanjaro. So I was out there, you know what I mean? I was out there. I wasn't on, but I was out there. You know what I mean? We was battling anybody. Like people know, you know what I mean? The legends know, you know what I mean? Like they used to see me.
And the joint you did on Busta's album was the what? Things We Do for Money?
Yes. Part 2 with featuring Anthony Hamilton.
Ah, okay.
And,
okay.
And, I used to send, Bus got mad beats of mine on that tape. I used to make beats with Bus at his crib. You know what I mean? But I was a nerd into making beats at one point in my. I still am. I'm a beat nerd. Like I don't care what machine it is. I want to learn it. I want to learn how to use it. I'm gonna figure something. You know what I mean? Like I'll figure it out. Even if I don't got equipment, I'm a walking beat machine myself because I think beats. I sleep, eat it. So I'll be like one time, I wake up, I'll be like, I hear something. I may be watching a movie on Netflix or something. You know what I mean?
And then I seen you work.
Then on top of my mind, I'll be like, yo, what that sound could go with? How can I change that? How can I mold it? I'm in the molding. So I'm trying to mold sounds now, like and morph things, but still keep it rugged and take it to another level.
And that leads me to the same around time you linked up with Mobb Deep, and then you did their joint, True Lies, no?
Yeah. That was me and Maddie C together. Me and Maddie did that together. He had the 1200, and the drums is from the 12. The sample is a piano, and the bass line is from the tone from the 950, so it got that raw sound. Because the 950, we used to get the bass and use the tone from the 950 to get that, like that real factory bass from the 950.
What will you work? So at this time you work with, and I'm just leading up to our joint, but so you worked with Mobb Deep, Busta, this is 96, 97. What's the difference in working with them? How was it being in the studio for say, like Bus?
Well, Bus more animated, you know what I mean? The Mobb more calm collective, you know what I mean? They more calm collective, they wild, but this is different vibe. It's Queens, Queens vibe is a little different than Brooklyn vibe. I would say that, but artistry wise, Busta, Busta's always working, you know what I mean? He's always like trying to anticipate, and I seen that in the studio with him when he'll have a session, he'll be in the studio, he lives in it, he's a studio rat, so he lives in the studio, and then I've seen moments that like I met Rudy Ray Moore, you know what I mean, one day, like just like he was doing the intro for Bus. I think because Bus records a lot of. Bus got albums and albums and albums that he dropped. Yeah, he got a reggae album he ain't dropped yet. He got mad shit.
Is he a one take type of dude, or is
he? Nowadays, last time I was with him recently, he just sit in the studio, got the mic in front of him. He sit in the chair. He got his drink. His studio kit, whatever he got, and then he just, got to tell the engineer, bring it back with it, and then when he record, he don't go in the booth no more. He just tell everybody, yo, sit in the lounge and wait till I finish.
Okay. So, and we were all on the same label around that time too, in terms of us and Bus and you. So 98 rolls around, it's time for us to do Generation Effects, right? So I reach out to you and you come to the crib, you bring all your stuff, you basically set up in the crib. It's like, it's a work, play, mansion, crib. We got the pool, we got the basketball court. It's a whole lot of stuff going on. You waking up 6, 7 in the morning. I'm coming down. I'm seeing you working on beats. You know what I'm saying? So tell me about that time. Tell me about, because a lot of people don't know, before I get into it, it was 98, Generation Effects, and you did Somebody Told Me. You did Raw Breed. You did the title track, Generation Effects. You did New Stuff. You did Change. And I want to tell you too, Adolf, we went to some country and big festival, man, big crazy festival. And some of the fans holding up Change. You understand? So yeah, we had to perform that record, Change. That's a big record over in Europe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
got video of that?
It's there, of course. I got footage of it. I got pictures of it.
Okay, yeah, I would love to see
I can send
that.
you the picture. Yeah, that's crazy. And tell me about that process for you. How was that working on that album with us?
Man, working with y'all was a dream come true to me. Cause it was like y'all was at the pinnacle top tier of hip hop at that moment. And I was like, yeah, like, and I knew Hit Squad was going through changes at that time with you know what was happening with P&E.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to get back together after that was just a blessing, you know, and to be part of that, you know, I don't know. It's some things are unexplainable where you look at situations and you never know what's gonna happen for your life, but you know, the work, I believe in, you know, putting in the hard work and the dedication and allowing myself to get to that level. And at that time, you know, the sound, I understood where y'all was at, but then adding my sound to y'all sound, I think, you know, made it more of us like, you know, getting that new sound out. And it was like we were all teaming up, you know, your ideas, you know, and my ideas together. And we put those things together, man, and we made history. You know, I look at it like, you know, people gonna look at that for years and years to come. You know, when they look at the whole discography, when they look at everything. But, you know, I was just trying to grind, you know, when you ain't really got much, you gonna do something with what you have. You know, most producers got mad records in their crib. I done lost crates and crates and crates I wish I could still have, you know what I mean? And, you know, I had pitfalls as a producer. I lost studios. I lost equipment. You know, my studio got robbed, you know, stuff like that, you know, and I don't even know how I'm still standing these days, you know what I mean?
I just remember, go ahead.
But, you know, I felt that time, you know, was a blessing, you know what I mean? For me to be there at that moment around mad plaques like you got in the background. And I just look at those for inspiration. I was like, yeah, I got to make some heat. And I think, you know, just, you know, y'all, just hip hop in general make you want to go hard if, you know, where it comes from, the soul of it, you know what I mean? And when you put that in the beat, you put that in the music, you know what I mean? You're going, you know, and you mix it right.
If it was up to me, you would have done that whole Generation Effects album because I knew what it was. That's why
I know it's politics.
Yeah, it was politics, but we probably got other joints we did that you probably don't even know you got.
I got joints
around.
Right now. I got joints me and EPMD freestyling. Nobody got right now.
Because what people don't understand is you one of them dudes. If we say, yo, hey, it's 1 o'clock, can we get a beat by 1:15? We got 2 beats by 1:15. He one of these type of producers, and they are bangers.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
we ain't giving nothing whack to the Dodds. We ain't giving nothing whack to Dodds. That's a fact. We ain't giving nothing whack out. Period.
So that's your album. For me, that's the Adolf album. For those of y'all who don't know, this man is basically, we put the album in your hands. Like he said, it was just labeled politics that he didn't do the whole album. You know what I'm saying? But Raw Breed, you rhyming on Somebody Told Me. You wrote the hook to Somebody Told Me. You know what I mean? We was going through, the industry was going through craziness at the time. So
somebody told me that this rap shit was fun. Learn to smoke mad weed and cop big guns. Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
yeah. That was the album.
That was a hard one. I love that joint. That's classic.
I love that joint, man. For me, that's the Adolf album. That's what I call it. So we do that album, right? And we put it out. You go off. I just know you was in my life, and then boom, you was out my life. And next time you come up, I think I see you working with you working with Group Home, and you working with Guru, you know, you doing the Jazzmatazz, Ballhead Slick, you doing all this stuff. So talk to me about the Guru experience.
Well, you know, I know Preem and Guru, they you know, like I said, I be in Brooklyn, and you know, me and Lil Dap know each other, you know, from way back in the days. You know what I mean? Like when Queen Latifah used to throw parties at the Puck Building. I used to, like I said, I used to run in a lot of cats running around partying. So anyway, you know, yeah, me and Dap, you know, we know mutual friends. So we wound up like one day linking up Havoc, you know, Dap too. Havoc gave Dap this ASR, and Dap ain't know how to use the ASR. He called me like, yo, can you help me out use it? Because I know the ASR 10. And I used to work on it at Prodigy grandmother house, God bless. So, you know what I mean? Like I said, I know Havoc and P too, you know what I mean? From, you know, like early days. So then we, you know, then we start working on, you know, Group Home's second album.
A tear for the ghetto.
Yeah, we started working on that, like, you know.
And this is 99. This is for those who don't know. This is around 99.
I just wound up being like, you know, the guy that, you know what I mean. I was like, you know, I'll put it to you like this. I feel like my career as a producer and as an MC is similar to a basketball player. You know what I mean? You know, got good skills. Might not stay on the team for like, you know what I mean, 2-3 years, and then go to another team, help this other team out. I just love basketball, you know.
You a journeyman. You a journeyman.
Yeah, I'm a journeyman.
Yeah, you definitely are.
I could, you know, I could get y'all to the championship. I got championships under the belt. I can help y'all get to the chip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vince Carter,
definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Vince Carter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you end up doing Run for Your Life. That's for the Group Home album, right?
Right.
And how was it working with them? Those are my guys too.
Yeah, I mean, overall, man, you know, that, man, you know, he's a unique individual when it comes to finding beats and you know how he finds his flow. And, you know how he winds up, you know, picking something and the sample. He you know, like he really into like, you know, things that match his voice. You know what I mean? It has to match, and the drums got to match. It just all got to match him, and we were able to do that and get that rocking. That, you know, that album. You know, I still don't know how it wound up being an album, because he came to me like, yo, I want you to hear this. And he played me 12 O'Clock Brooklyn. And when I heard that, I was like, yo, that shit hot. You know what I mean? And then they pressed the single, and they pressed the 12-inch for 12 O'Clock Brooklyn through Will Swagallah. And then Will was like, yo, why don't you work with him? And Will was, you know, one of my homies too. So he was like, all right, yo, you know, let's work it. Fuck it. And we did that album, and, you know, about a month, 2 months, came with that shit. I love that album. That album is like really, really slept on to me. If people ain't heard that second Group Home album, they need to check it.
Yeah, for sure. And then in that same year, then you linked up with Alchemist, another producer, and then you do the underground classy joint, Cookie Monster?
Yeah, Cookie Monster, was a record that, you know, I used to flip flows. Like when I freestyle, I would change my voice. You know, if I'm in the zone and I'm freestyling, I might, you know, go in animated mode, and then, you know what I mean? Like I did that on the roof with Redman and Method Man, and niggas like, yo, this nigga,
it's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, Jonathan Schechter wound up coming to me, was like, yo, I want to, remember that shit you did on the roof at the social? Why don't you make a record like that? I want to put out something like that. And then Jonathan came to me, and I was like, all right, well, he's like, get with Alchemist. And I knew Alchemist because Alchemist also worked on Tear for the Ghetto. And we were working together on that as well. All of us was in the studio. So we wound up working on that too. So me and Al wound up working on other shit too after that. it's crazy how domino effects happen for people. But I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, it was a domino effect for me because I was putting out a lot of good material. People, hip hop was loving the shit. You know, there's so many, you know, even the features, you know what I mean, that I was doing at that time, you know what I mean, was surprising a lot of people about, you know, if I could rhyme or not, and, you know, be at a superstar level. And I was just like, well, you know, I mean, shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna show up. You tell me to show up to the studio, I'm gonna make sure my shit hot. When I lay it, it's gonna be fire. I ain't wait, you know what I mean?
I need to just let people know though, if they don't know the Cookie Monster joint, go listen to it. It's one of the most creative rhymes I've heard, you know, in a while. It was smart. It was a smart.
Yeah, I got another rhyme called The Robot Man you need to check out. That shit gonna fuck you up. If you never heard The Robot Man, by Agallah, it's not out. I don't know if it's out. Like, you know, I took it off the net, but I'll send it to you. You know what I mean? This shit will fuck you up because it's, you know, I rhyme with conceptual shit, you know, like I like, you know, I like going to different levels, you know, and not being in, you know, one box. You know, as an artist, you know, I mean, some people like to just stay in the same box. I like to, you know, experiment.
You already know that same thing here. That's why we stopped doing the Iggity and people wanted us to keep doing it. It's if you're a true artist, that's what you do. You always change up. You feel me? So
yes, sir.
Yeah. We all do that. You know what I'm saying? So then that's about 99 and 2000, 2001. That's when you link up after that. You link up with God Rest the Dead Guru, right? God bless the dead Guru.
Guru, me and Guru, we basically had a friendship. We wound up like, you know, linking up. He was doing Ballhead Slick at the time and invited me to the studio a lot. And we wound up doing you know,
Rolling Dolo.
Rolling Dolo. And I also jumped on another song that he did, Lights Out.
Okay.
And it was produced by Master Ace. And I wrote the chorus for that.
Okay.
And I jumped and I rhymed on that, but that was also used for the last Gangstar album. The last Gangstar album that was released, but Premier remixed it. And but I did work with Guru. I also did
on a Jazzmatazz.
Guru. Yeah. It was called Mashing Up the Earth featuring Junior Reed.
Yeah, mashing up the world.
That's like when I knew I was going on a different level as far as production, because it was a reggae inspired track with the jazz feeling. And I sampled that from a movie called Better Tomorrow. From you know, I don't know if you up on Child Young Fat, and you know, the guy who made Rush Hour, the director, well, you know, I forgot his name, but yeah, he's a big director. But you know, I like soundtracks, so I got that from A Better Tomorrow soundtrack, sampled that. Guru loved it. Prodigal Son jumped on it from Wu-Tang, and yeah, Junior Reed on the hook, and it was on Jazzmatazz. So I'm great to be a part of that project because Guru's no longer here with us. He's a celebrated figure in hip hop, you know, and that was my man. You know, it's crazy.
I know working with you is definitely, because I know you said about, you know, you wrote the hook and shit like that. Working with A is really one of those collaborative efforts, you know.
But being a producer is not just being a beat maker. It's also producing a song, producing the hook, making sure the bars are, you know, making sure the artist spitting everything on time, making sure the words are sounding clear, making sure his, you know, the art sounding correct to the music, and directing it. You know, it takes a lot to make a great song. I mean, you know, I'm still working on a song for the last 2 weeks. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know, you want to change your life, you got to put that work into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it takes that.
That's good for the young guys to hear producers, because a lot of them, they just do the beat, send it off, or sit behind the board, and they're not really they're not really a part of, you know, the whole making of the song.
The process,
so
it's a process.
It's a process, you know. Yeah, yeah. So hey, 2000 rolls around. I'm trying to go year by year, follow your moves, and then boom, you link up with another great one. You link up with Pun.
Right. Well, that was through you know, Tony Touch. There was an album right here that I have called The Peacemaker.
Okay.
I mean, Tony Touch, The Peacemaker. It was on Tommy Boy. And it was called The Foundation.
You did the Foundation.
Yeah, with Big Pun featuring Sun Kiss. And another guy, I believe where's that song at? And Reef Hustle. And then I did Class of '87 featuring Big Daddy Kane, Kool Rap, and KRS-One.
Big records, bro.
I you know, thank Tony Touch. He, you know, I had some memorable moments, man, in that session doing that album, because it was like all nothing but greats, Positive K, Gurus in there. People, like, we all in there at the same time. And I'm the youngest cat in there. I got footage of it. You know what I mean? So it's like,
oh, we need that, eh?
Actually, Tony Touch has a series where he has it on his YouTube. His it's his episodes on Tony Touch's YouTube that he has the footages of him making Peacemaker and stuff like that.
Now help me with my memory. Is it Pun? Is it Packing the Mac in the Back of the Act Pun at this time?
It's middle of Little Italy. She didn't do Little.
Yeah.
But Pun was going through a lot at this time when we did this.
Okay.
This is like his second album.
Okay.
When he like during his second album, he was going through weight. He had weight issues. He was trying to get weight loss and all that. You know what I mean? Before he passed, because he was overweight, and it was because of his accident. You know what I mean? So he had to, you know, do all that, and we bought the studio to his house. You know what I mean? Because he couldn't move. He could not move.
Okay.
He could not move at the time. God bless him. You know what I mean? But he was still happy, still cheerful. You know what I'm saying? Still like, you know, making people laugh as he is. You know, he loves to make people laugh. He just joke all the time and play practical jokes. That's who Pun was. But, you know, we recorded that on a mini digital recorder with the Beats 2-track, and we took it to the studio, and it wound up on the album. But that's the last time I seen him. You know what I mean? I didn't see him after that. And you know, it was just good to be a part of, you know, to get that done. You know what I mean? With him, because he wanted to sign me, and we didn't get to that. You know, we didn't get to do it because he passed on. So, shout to, his whole family and everybody, Lisa and everybody like that. You know what I'm saying? They're good people.
Yeah. Now, everybody who heard you either make a beat or rhyme, wanted to sign you. I damn near wanted to sign you. You already know, so, and you was working, and on that album, you worked with Chris, one of the greats, which I worked with too, KRS-One. We did Represent the Real with him, and all I remember is him in the studio going crazy, and I'm sitting there with my pad like, yo, this is crazy. I'm in here with the God, you understand? So how was it working with Chris?
Well, that session was a magical session because Kane came in there, KRS wasn't there yet. Kane goes first, and then G-Rap was there, and then Kane walks in the room. I mean, KRS, everybody, Kane laid his verse. Then G-Rap laid his verse. We like, oh, shit. Like, Kane just killed it. Like, then G-Rap coming, we like, oh, shit. G-Rap on this game. We like, what's going to happen next? So then Chris comes in, like, oh, shit. Like, this just becomes like the ill trifecta right there. And then like, Chris goes in the booth and didn't even write it, just freestyled it. I witnessed it. Chris is magical. Something about yeah, he's magical. Like,
and for those of y'all who don't know, this joint is called Class of '87, so you got to check it out. You know what I'm saying? Tell me about that beat, eh?
Well, you know, I was making beats every day at that time, and I was, you know, Tony.
It's just another one.
Yeah, Tony told me, you know, come to the studio with your beats, and we was in the D&D. We did all this in D&D. You know, the legendary D&D studio. So we in there. You know, Tony. You know, got you know, the engineer. You know, he like, you know, making sure that, you know, I got my own area, because it's a small area, not too big in there, where you can sit down and, you know, set up without, you know, people disturbing you and you want to cook. So I was cooking up in there constantly in that room. You know what I'm saying? I was just cooking up shit, because I like hearing my shit loud. Yeah. I hear, you know, just, and then they heard that beat. It was like, what the fuck is this? And I was just taking it to another level. I was like, yo, this that shit. He's like, this class. And then Tony was like, this class 87 right here. And then they came in, you know, and laid that shit, man. Like, it was nothing. It was just like watching a legendary moment. You know what I mean? It was like House having a private show for me. Like, you know what I mean? Over my beat. Right. Like a private show over my beat, to have all three legends over my production. I'm like, bro, nobody's here to watch this. Me, Tony.
Yeah.
Them three. Me, Tony, and the engineer.
Yeah. Crazy.
Nobody else. It's like six
history.
Dudes.
And it's history being made. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So listen, so 2005 rolls around, right? You doing stuff, then you link up with another legend, another one of my favorites. You link up with the infamous Sean Price, God rest the dead, again, and you do a joint with him on Monkey Bars. Right. Talk to me. It wasn't
on Monkey Bars. It was my song at first.
Okay.
Because it wound up on Grand Theft Auto. It's Agallah featuring Sean Price, Rising to the Top.
Okay.
I put that on Grand Theft Auto. That's listed as Agallah featuring Sean Price. When you play Grand Theft Auto 3, you hear Stretch Armstrong saying Agallah featuring Sean Price, because Stretch Armstrong came to me and said, yo, I want you to do a joint for Grand Theft Auto. So I was like, all right, I'm happy as hell. I ain't play the game.
Yeah.
So I know what I was doing. I just made a joint. I was like, and I was working with Sean at the time, because he asked me to give him beats. So I was like, all right, you know what I mean? Because he needed beats, you know, to do his joint. So I wound up getting him to the studio, and we did that song, and I wound up submitting that song to Stretch, and it wound up on Grand Theft Auto.
3.
Which wound up 3, right? You know what I mean? Which sold 17 million copies, probably 18 now, excuse me. Big. You know, a lot of people know that song, Rise to the Top.
Yeah.
So it wound up on Sean Price album. I let him use it, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, you want to use it for your album? Go ahead, you can use it for your album.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I wanted him to blow up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Whatever it was going to take for him to blow up, I was behind him at 100% for him to do his thing too. You know, we got to use that, you use it too. You know what I mean? You want it, might as well use it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I mean, that's what happened. You know what I mean?
Let me keep it with the gaming, because you've done some more stuff. You did Midnight Club 2, that's in 03, right?
Right.
And then you did NBA Live 08.
Guys, I didn't do a song. I did the song on Midnight Club. I did one song on there featuring Night Guys. And I also, then I wound up getting into scoring. I wound up getting into bigger jobs of scoring video games. And that's where NBA Live 08 comes in. I don't have a song on the game, but I did score all the production on the game, the beats that you hear on the game.
Levels.
And then also wound up scoring for UFC. Undisputed with Brock Lesnar on the cover. And I'm a big UFC fan, so that was, you know, I felt like Dana White needs to holler at me if he needs some beats, you know what I mean?
You already
coming out and fighting, because I'm into that, you know what I mean? Like that's That's what
DM
I
him.
like sports.
DM them.
Yeah,
This is the age of Instagram. That's what makes it so easy now. You already know. You know what I mean? You already know. So then, so that was in 01 with the Grand Theft Auto 3, and then boom, in 2005, then you reuse it again with Sean, right? And then you do another joint with him called what is it, Jail Shit?
Yeah, I produced that. I produced that.
With Rock on it.
I produced that. And you know, that made his first project, and then he wound up working with a lot of other producers after that. That, you know, that first album was classic. It took off for him. Yeah, you know, we kept recording other records throughout. You know, I will, you know, feature him on my records and stuff like that. And you know, he'll always be a legend, you know what I'm saying? Like, in his own right, you know, for what he did, you know, period. And I think, you know, he he's a figure he's still celebrated in the hip hop community, you know what I mean? Whether he's here or not, you know what I'm saying? Like, people still celebrate him, and it's good to have, you know, work with cats like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize, you know, growing up with him would lead into us becoming, you know, hip hop legends, you know, and putting our, you know, mark on hip hop itself. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see that as a dream coming when we were younger, because I know him since we were kids, and we would trade Coleco cartridges. You know, you never imagine.
Yeah. So talk to me about your in 2005, 4-ish, 6-ish, 7-ish. You talk to me about your Diplomat affiliation.
Well, people knew at that time what I was doing. My name was out, you know, pretty much, you know, concrete already at this point. And, you know, I was living in the Bronx, and I met a friend of mine who introduced me to a guy named Shice Bubs. And me and Shice met through a friend of mine named D-Doubler, who's no longer here. And we basically, you know, got to know each other. I didn't really expect nothing of it. It was like more of a like, you know, what up, yo, you cool with my man? All right, yo, you know, people, you know, shoot the breeze, kick it out. You know, I used to go to Harlem a lot. So, you know, they heard my music one day. Like, yo, son, nice. You know what I mean? And he's like, you know, well, what you doing? Kind of shit. And I was just like, yo, you know what I mean? I'm just getting money, man. Whatever. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to get it. You know what I mean?
You need me on your team. Basically, you need me on your team to take you to the championship.
Yeah. That
One
part.
of those.
Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
So what do you start doing with them?
It wound up being another situation with that.
Okay.
And like you said, and I met Uncasa through Shice Bub. We wound up connecting and getting in the studio and recording songs. After a year, we got to know each other, and then things started to, you know, we made mixtapes first with Diplomats, and then they would sell them on 145th Street. So I would be on a few songs. I wound up on a Diplomat volume of 4 or 5, I believe, and the song was Keeping It Gangster. And then people, you know, that song wound up taking off on the Diplomat Volume 5. So I was like, all right, I'm part of this now. And then, you know, I'm not part of Dipset, though. I'm affiliated with them because I'm dealing with Purple City. But then, you know what I mean? Whoop. Things, you know, start blowing up. We start making noise. Purple City start making noise amongst Dipset, and then a guy named Chuck Wilson and you know, Chris Lange reached out to me, and he was like, "Yo, what up? What can I bring us?" And I spoke to Shice, and then Shice wound up being in the whole situation to get Wells to get on a couple of songs on our mixtape, and then we wound up getting a deal with you know, we just wound up blowing after that, wound up independently blowing, not majorly, but independently selling over 100,000 mixtapes in Harlem, and then wound up getting a deal on Koch. Koch wanted to sign me. Aaron Glumback wanted to sign me directly, but what happened was, you know, Chuck and I had songs with Purple City in them already, so we wound up doing that album, and then they gave me a solo deal independent deal on Baby Grand to put out You Already Know. And then I did my solo shit.
Let me ask you, a lot of the deals you're getting from time to time, they're as an MC. Were you ever approached as a producer? Like, for instance, you know, Puff had Hitman and all that. Were you ever approached to come under anybody's, you know, Dre got all his crew?
Yeah. I was approached by Puff late 90s. And this is when Big, you know, Big was asking me to give him beats. You know what I mean? Biggie Smalls, like Notorious Big.
Okay.
And Chris was asking me to hit him with beats. So I hit him with some shit. And beat I hit him with, you know, Chris loved it a lot. And then wound up, you know, Puff wound up getting hip to it. But you know, he wanted to sign me to Bad Boy, Hitman.
Okay.
And, you know, production. Okay. And then wound up the contract, you know, my lawyer didn't like it. They weren't trying to negotiate. So we didn't rock with the offer, but that's still my man, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just business. I got you. Okay, so you were in one of those, because I'm saying anybody who's ever heard your beats would think, yo, I need to, you know, lock this guy down, you know what I mean? Or at least let him.
I mean, you know, now, you know, I'm dealing with new management. You know, I believe that it's all politics when you're dealing with management, and you need representation to get you that good, solid foundation. When you know the producer's getting paid, he's not, you know what I mean? He's not just touching the machine for a playground moment. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know, you need that right management.
Yeah.
And and some of the times, like, I would get a lot of, you know, I would deal with the artist direct, you know, because it would beat me to the punch to get the beat to the artist. If the artist like the beat, then, you know, I ain't got to go through all of that red tape, the label red tape and all that. But then, you know, you still have to, you know, maintain that, you know, source of business and that source of code with your management and stuff like that. So I learned the hard way.
Yeah. And then let's take it to, I just wanted to check, because like I said, anybody who ever heard you, I think they would be out their mind if they didn't want to offer you something, you know what I mean? But that was news to me. So let's take it to 2006. Then you link up with Remy, right? And then you do, that's her first album? Something, there's something about Remy?
Before that, how that happened was I was, you know, this is a true story.
Talk to me.
I was working with a dude named Scram Jones, DJ Scram Jones, right? And he a producer, and we met through a spot named EO Dub. We became friends, and I wound up, you know, linking with him. We would make beats together at his spot, and I wound up, you know, making a beat with him one day that I didn't get credit for. That wound up on Lloyd Banks' album, Work Magic. I helped make that beat. I actually made that beat. I just, you know what I mean? And basically, we all did a song to it. We made this shit together. But he wound up taking our vocals off and wound up giving it to Lloyd Banks. Lloyd Banks bought it. So I was like, and he did it behind my back. I wound up getting the money. I wound up getting on my gangster. Like, you ain't gonna do that to me, bro. Give me my bread. You know what I mean? Got my bread. You know, then he came back to me, yo, I'm sorry, I got another situation we can get bread on, and that was the Remy situation.
Nice.
So he came back on an apology, like, I ain't mean to do that. I had to get some bread, whatever, you know what I mean? We handled it. I got my bread from the Lloyd Banks Work Magic joint. Then I wound up working on the Remy joint with Scram. He's also credited on there, but that's my beat. But being that he had to connect, I had to give him credit.
Okay.
So, you know, it's a part of the business, man.
You already.
Right.
You're already.
Part of the business.
You already.
Know, even if you didn't make something, if a person got that connect and they feel strongly like they need to,
already.
And that's what they do. And they looking out for you. It's only right. You know what I mean?
And the song ends up being called Lights, Camera, Action.
Right.
Yeah.
That started off an album, Something About Remy. Right.
Yeah. How was it working with Rem? How was it working with Rem in the studio?
Well, you know, basically when I laid the joint, man, she was, you know, she was like, she just an automatic type of female to like when she hear a party record.
She on
And I
go.
wanted to, when I made the beat, I was like, I know she from the Bronx, and I know what the Bronx sound like.
Okay.
So when I did that song, it was like I had the Bronx in my mind because she's so BX. So I was like, you know what I mean? Let me just put something together that, you know, represents her and represents the BX and can match her flow. And I you know, it was a perfect fit. You know?
Yeah,
When you know, I mean, I used to date chicks in the BXG. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, me too.
I know how it is. You know what I
too.
mean? Like, you know, I know how they get down. They ain't playing with a nigga. You know what I mean? Like that's how it is. G.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta be on alert with a joint. But like how Remy come, you know what I mean? Like I've been in the studio with her, you know, a few times. So you know, man, she. You know, she's a talent, you know, she get busy.
Yeah. True legend, true talent. She one of us. She an MC, you heard?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? She's serious about that mic, that paperwork, that pen game serious. So boom. So then I just want to jump ahead because you got so much that you've done, but the latest that project, if I'm not wrong, is The Gods Have Arrived with my brother from another mother, Sadat X. Y'all did some stuff, right? Y'all put it in?
No, that's my latest collab project. I got other projects like, but that's the latest collab that I did with you know, major hip hop artists. I believe Sadat is a legend, and you know, we known each other as well back since the early 90s, and we wound up, you know, we've been doing joints with each other, you know, throughout the years. And then we just like, man, we might as well put an album together. And then he called me, he had his daughter last year, 2 years ago. And then we wound up like John, you know, his daughter being born, we wound up getting the album done, you know, and you know, wound up, man, like getting a deal with Fat Beats, the independent release, but it wound up making a lot of noise. And you know, we just like basically you know, it was a good I love that album, man. It just dropped so many jewels on it, you know, and
you did the whole thing?
Yeah, I produced the whole thing. And basically he, you know, working with him, you know, he's a natural. You know, to me, you know, he's Dave Chappelle of rap. You know what I mean? You know, like him and Dave Chappelle. I don't know the way Dave talk, the way he rhyme. To me, is, you know, he's like that type of, you know, voice. You know what I mean? When he says something, you know, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Nah, yeah, I've always loved the way his voice came across. Yeah.
That always has come with that real. You know, he you know, he ain't about, you know, the dance around rap and none of that. The you know, his style is just, you know, you gotta know what you're doing when you're in the studio with him.
Yeah. Y'all got to check that out. It's crazy. It's a crazy project.
The Gods Have Arrived.
You already. Yo, hey, real quick before we wrap up, I know. So you've been doing you've seen the change of production and how the new kids are doing their beats. Have you adapted, or how's your feel? What are you working on? You know, what's your weapon of choice now? How do you get down?
Well, you know, like right now I like Akai. You know, I like the SP 1200 series that Roland has put out, the SP 44 MK2 I have on the way. I stick with, you know, Logic, you know, now, you know, this joint right here, you know, it's the MPC-1.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's a standalone version of the MPC program that works in Logic and everything. So I use that now. And you know, I you know, just kind of experimenting with different, you know, stuff and different synthesizers and a lot of stuff like that I'm using, you know, to build the sounds now, playing out a lot of, you know, material and you know, not more sampling based, but still sounds like I sampled something because I'm utilizing the filters more, I'm utilizing more arrangements to make it, you know, to make it more presentable now, not just a monotonous loop. kind of arranging it.
You don't sample? Why is it because we got to pay out? Or you still
sample, but then I don't, sink my talents into always sampling. You know what I mean? I believe like, once I can, get a right key and I'm playing it to where I know or I could pitch it different. I'm dealing with like, morphing and making something that, sounds like something that I could arrange more properly rather than one loop that I would have to like chop up and then, it's always a high science.
You a mad scientist. You a mad scientist. Yeah. Hey, real quick, do you have a beat album? You know what I'm saying?
I do. I do have a beat album. Agallah Instrumentals Volume 1 is on my website, www.agallah.bandcamp.com. You can go purchase it there. There's some on YouTube, I believe.
Okay.
And I also have a Volume 2 video game beats and stuff like that I put out. It was like all cartoon based off all cartoon beats and stuff like that.
Well, I gotta go check these beats out, man.
I'll send you links to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I think you one of them dudes that people need to hear your work. Forget the rhyming. I'm talking about the beats, because you one of these dudes that once you hear Agallah's beats, it's gonna change you're gonna want to write something to these beats. You know what I'm saying? It's one of these dudes.
More than definitely. We can land a soundscape for any artist. You know what I mean? We there.
Before I go, let you go. Production wise, who are some of the producers? I know a lot of people like Premier, Pete Rock. Who are some of the producers that you were looking up to or inspired you?
Marley Ma. Definitely Marley. I believe Marley is one of the, one of the best, the choppers of hip hop that invented chopping, that took it to another level at that time. And ghost drumming underneath, chopping loops. He definitely was a pioneer. Definitely will be. Is a pioneer. And I believe, other cats. There's other cats that that I would say that Hitman Howie T. Yeah.
Hitman Howie T.
A lot of people don't give him the credit he deserves. That man, Special Ed, Chubb Rock, all them albums right there. You know what I'm saying? Like I looked up to him as well because those albums had bangers and hits on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had Hitman in front of his name. How he was making hits, treating him right.
He letting you know.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I got it made. You know what I mean? Like all them joints, I looked up to him. A lot of other producers, man, I wish I could name them all rip, but I would say Large Professor, you know what I mean? And he was definitely one of those dudes. Ultramagnetic, Kool Keith and Said G, and TR Love, and them. I love their beats.
When are you one of those? Are you one of those producers when you get an album? Were you one of those checking who did the joints?
Yeah. I'm always into that, reading credits. That's what we was into back then. Going on the back of the album, who did this beat? If we wanted to go, know who did a beat, you would have to go back on that back of that album.
Yeah.
It is, a couple other producers, Beat Nuts, they definitely, Psycho Lesson, Juju, they definitely, what I'm saying? Some of the long time running cats from New York, I feel like, made a lot of dope beats. You know what I'm saying? I just was, around a lot of circles, man, that were production circles. Dudes knew that I had heat. I was making a lot of heat back then.
Yeah.
And just had to be around that community of it. You gotta be around the community of it to love it, and understand it. And I feel like, the early pioneers though, man, like, even with Jazzy J, you know what I'm saying? Like Jazzy J from the Bronx.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like Diamond D.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I worked with Diamond D on my first album. I respect Diamond D a lot. You know, I feel like he bought a lot. You know, with digging in the crates, digging in the crates crew.
Yeah, so I'm actually. It's a few. I'm actually interviewing Diamond D soon. So yeah, he's definitely OG with
Shout to him.
Yeah,
Shout
with
to
that
him.
first
That's
album.
My guy.
Yeah.
I'm on his next album as well, rhyming.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on his next album, you know, rhyming. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that when it drops.
Okay. So before we wrap it up though, is there anything you want to tell us what you're working on now? Tell the world, production wise, MC wise, what you got going on?
Well, before you go, I don't know if you know, but I also worked on this for Ghostface Killer. I don't know if you heard this.
What's that?
This is called the Ghost Files propane tape.
Okay.
The propane tape right there. You know what I mean? The Ghost Files propane tape. You see that?
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard that, but these are his remixes that I did about 2 years ago. You know what I mean? It's out on his website. You can check that out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I mean, you know, but as far as what I'm doing, my next project is called The Year of the Tiger, which we in now right now. And you know, so far I got Fashawn on there, who signed the Nas. I got Inspector Deck, Cuban Link. I got who else? My man Jackpot. I got Great God on there.
Is it like a Khaled thing where it's your album? But are you just doing the beats and having other people? You're rhyming on it too.
Yeah. I got one. I got one outside production on there from a dude called Nicholas Craven, who did Ransom's latest project. So I'm you know, he's from Montreal. Dude, dope. You got dope production.
Yo, hey, I need you to do one of those Khaled type albums, though, man. Just
I'm gonna do. You
doing all the beats.
I'm gonna do.
Yeah, son.
I'm speaking with my management now.
Yeah, stop playing.
We're looking at doing a compilation soon. And,
man.
Yeah, I'm building that. So I'm gonna ask you. I'm actually ask you.
And, that's done. That's done.
Yeah. I need y'all on that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I just seen Primo linked up with 2 Chainz. He rhyming over a Primo beat. I'm talking, do all of that. Hey, you understand? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm about to tap in. I'm already tapping in. Yeah.
You one of the dangerous ones that these people need to know about, man. You heard?
Nah, I appreciate the time with you.
Yeah.
You know, the history, letting people know, you know what I mean? You know, we definitely got things in play in this store.
You already.
You know, shout out to my man, my homie DJ Scribble, who you know, right now we working, you know, close knit on this project right now, this Year of the Tiger project.
Yeah.
It's gonna be something. You know what I mean?
All right.
I got, I definitely need to get you on something. That's what I need.
You already know.
After this interview, I got to call you.
You already know. Me and Scoob on deck. That Das Agallah reunion. You heard? You already know.
Yeah, we need that. You
already know. I think we did it. I think we got another one. A in the can. My brother Agallah, super producer. Thanks for stopping through. You already know. Check them out. Agallah, Swagallah, Don Bishop. Yo, hey, where all the names come from? Why all these names before I let you go?
Well, you know, man, I'm just saying, man, you gotta stay reinventing yourself, baby. You can't, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's what we do. You know what I mean? The ideas keep coming. You know what I mean? So I can't let them stagnate. You know what I mean? You already. Another one with my brother Agallah, Adolf the Assassin. So listen, this is normally where we end the podcast, but if you made it this far, you already know I'm rocking with you. You rocking with me. I got a couple of bonus questions for my brother Ag because we go back that far. So first one is, yo, hey, did you watch the verses between us, not even us, but KRS-One and Kane? Yeah, What'd you think about that? I watched it. Yeah, I was actually texting Kane all day.
Oh yeah?
yeah. I got jokes, but you know.
Yeah.
But you know, I watched it. It was a phenomenal thing.
Yeah.
On both.
Was you surprised when you saw us come out there?
Man, I was like, man, this is about to get crazy right now. When y'all came out, I didn't really understand what was going on at the point because I was like, it was just so much pandemonium when y'all came out. I was like, oh, here we go. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And you know, it was a moment, you know what I mean? Because I know you team KRS, I'm team Kane, you know what I'm saying? I gotta stick with my man. You know what I mean? That's my guy. Even though I love KRS, they both brothers, we all brothers, but that night I was team Kane, you know what I mean? I was like, oh my God, they go my fam right there.
Yeah, it was crazy for me too. I was chilling, minding my business, and all of a sudden my phone rang. My phone rang, and it was Chris. He was like, "Yo, Drayz, you ready?" I'm like, "Whoa, I think I know what you talk about." So yeah, that was crazy for me too. So on another one, I got another one for you. You worked with a lot of the greats, man. Like you worked with Pun, Chris, Kane. Who's in your top 5 MCs?
Oh man, that's
you worked with Sean Price.
My top 5, definitely. I would say it's a tie. The number one is a tie between Rakim and Kane. For one, it's like 3 runners up for one. Rakim, Kane, KRS, Kool Rap. That's 4. And then the last dude. I mean, this is like
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, this is my Mount Rushmore 5. The last dude, I'm gonna give it to you right now is Brother J.
Okay. X-Clan.
Yeah. I believe Brother J was like lyrically was like just as good as Rakim, but on a different level. I felt like he had that pen, you know what I mean? And he was like, I believe one of the dopest. And then, I do got favorites though. Like Special Ed was one of my favorite MCs. You know what I mean? I like Special Ed.
Me too.
I grew up listening to Ed rhyme. You know what I mean? I like the way Ed used to rhyme. Like, you know what I mean? And then, East Flatbush Project. I don't know if you ever heard this song called Carried by 12, rather be carried by 6. You know what I mean? And it was like this joint, it was like a single. But I was really into underground hip hop a lot. I would listen to a lot of dopeness from around the area, local stuff. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? People would probably know about, but it was local, but it was dope. But you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. For me, I know what you mean by because I'm a big Daddy Kane fan. So it was Kane, and then once I heard Ed, a lot of their rhymes, the way they wrote, was very similar. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah. A lot of, because the words, it matters where you place these words on the paper. And Ed, was definitely a special dude. You know what I mean? Yo, hey, what do you think about today's MCs, with the singy, songy thing, more melodic, drug rap, doing the drugs?
Yeah, I'm not really into that. But at the end of the day, I understand what the youth are trying to call out, really, because it is how they communicate now. You know what I mean? Like it is a lot of violence in a lot of the youth music today because there's violence going on in these communities, and that's all they know. You know what I mean? That's like when you hear gang gang and all that. Really, it's like, really it ain't about the song. It's really about, this is my hood. You come, you talking anything, you ain't from here.
You're going to get your head knocked off.
It ain't music once you're doing that. To me, it is about, it's a communication thing. And I understand that, I mean? It's like the way they identify now. And, I just try to, when I, understand things, like I said, this is high science. So when you're doing music, you're not always meant to, go so deep delve into that state of being this real cat that you always gotta present your persona on the board. You making music. We making music. We ain't. You can't shoot me through the TV. You know what I mean? When you see the video, but that's what happens when, rest in peace, Young Dolph. That's the problem with the music now, the frequency. in that music is allowing people to do these things and these acts, I feel, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I know when I'm listening to some, you know what I mean? When I'm listening to, you know, certain music, it puts you in a mood, you know what I mean?
That's deep what you said, because you cleared it up for me. They're not reporting on the violence and the gangs going on around them. They're actually telling the ops, they're talking to each other. You know what I'm saying? They just happen to be doing it on.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's basically, you know, like you know, some of the music is good. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I listen to some Future sometimes. Like I you know, sometimes I listen to some Drake. You know, it's not really, you know, I don't have like I'm open-minded to a lot of what's going on, because you know, society, you know, always tends to follow the trend. And you know, you want to, and I'm not a follower. I like to be a leader. I like to start something different. You know, start something new. Start creating things that I feel that I know that's going to take, you know, my originality to the next level. You know what I mean? Because it's nothing like nobody else sounding like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm gonna make a song with Drake. I will get with Drake and make a song, but I'm gonna add my flavor to it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna always bring my flavor to everything. You know what I mean? And also improvise.
Yeah, that might happen. You know what I mean? I would love to hear Drake over an ag beat. You know what I mean? Yo, Drake, holla at my man Drizzy. You already know.
Shout out to him.
You already. So that's all I have for y'all. Couple of bonus questions on the Producers Podcast with my brother from another mother, Agallah, the assassin. Hey, yo, A, you already?
One love. Peace.
Thanks for joining me on today's episode of the Producers Podcast, produced by my guys Raj and Vic at the Creative Content Agency. I couldn't do it without them. Big shout out to them. If you like what you heard today, please share it with everybody that likes to hear about these kind of stories behind the beats with these amazing producers. Also, if you happen to be listening on Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star rate and review. Also for the crew over at Spotify, you know what I mean? Please do what you do over there. Listen, follow me at my social site, you know what I mean? At Krazy Drayz. That's KRAZY DRAYZ. Leave me some messages, leave me some questions, leave me some ideas. You know, I'm gonna holler back at you, because that's just what we do at the Producers Podcast. Hey, yo, once again, thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Peace.